This Los Angeles Chargers betting preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Circus Sports. Circus Sports is giving away $14 million this NFL season. Sign up in Vegas and play from anywhere. Get all the info over at circusports.com. We're also brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon.
Hey everybody, Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Live and in person, hailing from San Diego, California. We look pretty good over here, Doug.
Yes, joining us in studio. You hear him now, the man, the myth, the legend, the original San Diego sports bro, Justin Decker. What's happening, Decker?
What's up, guys? Great to be back. Great to see you. Like Kramer and his Charger tee. So
yeah, Kramer's rocking his LA Chargers
Could
shirt.
this be the year that I don't take the Chargers to make the playoffs? That's what we got to go. Also, noticing the rasp in Decker's voice.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
Maybe that playoff loss.
Oh no,
What is
Ryan! Ryan, why'd you have to do that so early on?
I've kind of forgot about it. I'm back to the Padres choking right now. But
man.
yeah, give it time. You know, we'll be back to the Chargers.
Decker was over here in studio watching, and there was just a chill in the room as things turned sideways.
It was worse than that because it wasn't just that we were experiencing Decker's misfortune.
You saw it coming.
We
too.
were all-
And I
Also-
think everybody left, right? They
Yes.
could feel it. Sometimes you just feel it.
It was
And you're like, we're not doing enough
icy
here.
tension, and then everyone had left. Decker had a couple cocktails, and I was working on some stuff. And he's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna hang out here until I sober up. That's cool." I'm like, "Yeah, no, totally." And I'm in the other room, and I could just hear Decker kind of half buzzed doing his Duolingo Mandarin. He's just like in the other room, Ning Hao, or I can't even do a Mandarin impression, but it was just it's how you process a devastating sports loss. I, of course, had one a few weeks later with that Super Bowl, but feeling for you, Decker, and the Chargers. It felt like, hey, that was a great run. But hey, we'll get into it. We're going to recap 2022, turn the page to 2023. Of course, we will be getting to our MLD, aka most likely DGen. Of course, before we get to that, shout out to our new sponsor, Parlay Play. Head over to parlayplay.io. Perfect place to parlay some player props. 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Active in a bunch of states, including California, Texas, bunch of other a lot of places, almost all the provinces in Canada also active. MLB, EPL, UFC, a lot of fun ways to get down over on parlayplay.io. Use the promo code SGP for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And of course, if you haven't already signed up for our Patreon, what are you waiting for? If you've been reading the news, corporate gambling continues to grow stronger every day. Do your part in the fight against corporate gambling. Look at this amazing graphic. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. Uncle Sam pointing right at you. I mean, we got Pluto's going to be giving out parlays here unless you do your part. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. You get access to the $1,000 NFL win totals contest, weekly contest, Kramer's spreadsheet, and our bonus SGP stories podcast, which we'll be dropping next week. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon.
Sean, real quick, YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. The wife doesn't like that picture. Apparently, I'm too good looking in it.
What?
Oh.
She said you look too good there
in that picture from the WinBet appearance.
Why is that a problem?
Well, there were beautiful ladies in the house. I was
she
wearing
considers
the
that like
jacket.
a thirst trap.
The vein was coming out of the side of my giant head. Yeah, that picture cracked me up. And when I saw Josh had pulled that for the show tonight, I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
Chad is lit as always. Good to see those guys in there cracking some cold ones as we are in studio. Hey, Chargers. 10-7 straight up last year. Obviously 10-8 with the with the very good team to bet on last year. 11-6-1 against the spread. Their win total was at 10, which was a push. Kramer had them at 11-6. I nailed it. I had them 10-7. Their DVOA overall 18th, offensive DVOA 19th, defensive DVOA 16th. Estimated wins, or their Pythag wins, were 8.7, so kind of exceeded expectation there.
I think I had him 11-6.
Yeah, you were right there as well. And Kramer might be able to pull that up in his historic
10-7.
Oh, I got it right.
I don't want to say it too loudly, but you did have a position on Keenan Allen to go over 98 receptions. So
yeah,
I don't want to. Maybe you
only played 10 games.
You might have had something to do with that.
Yeah, and early on, to me, it was the Chargers were an interesting team. I think Justin Herbert getting banged up really. I don't know if it was it Justin Herbert's rib injury or the offense, because something I'm not optimistic about. Career low yards per attempt, 6.8, 6.42 air yards per attempt. Decker, how say you? Why was Herbert not pushing the ball down the field as much as he had in previous years?
So it was three things. It was actually his shoulder too. Like,
yeah. Oh, you're right.
What was weird about it? No one knew about the shoulder.
Yeah.
It was just said he's having surgery. Never said a word about it. Never. But yeah, that's why he wasn't running either. I knew something was up.
You're right.
I thought it was the lingering ribs.
Yeah.
But it was a shoulder. And for some reason, because of that, they were just dinking and dunking. But Lombardi, that's why he went, man. You know, I was calling for him to go.
Yeah.
You're saying he's a patsy, and he was protecting his quarterback with short stuff.
I mean, he shouldn't have been. Well, first of all, he thinks he has Drew Brees.
Yes,
yeah,
but he's got Justin Herbert.
He's got Justin Herbert.
Cannon for an arm. He's got those locks. He's tall. He can push it down the field.
What I want to see from Herbert this year, and I think it'll happen, is this is his third offensive coordinator. He's a veteran now. Let's be honest. I want to see him be more vocal.
Yeah.
Like if you have a coach who's not doing what you're doing, you sign the biggest contract. You're the
paid.
guy, and he's such a nice, quiet guy. Like take a stand. Tell
Be a
them you want to
dog.
throw it down the field.
He does seem kind of still like a big kid. I mean,
He is. He's not that old.
No, I know, but I'm saying to Decker's point, he's going into his year 4 year. We need to see a little pop, a little hunger.
We need to see a dog this year.
Yes, I like that.
More assertive guy.
I like calling that out. Now, what do you make of Kellen Moore? Kellen Moore, obviously a big addition for the Chargers. Everyone's excited. Second in the league in neutral pace. Like they were going for it. They were aggressive. For some reason, the Cowboys got rid of him, even though their offense was pretty successful. Are you stoked on the Kellen Moore hire?
I'm good. I mean, he's like a young guy. What is he, like 34?
Yeah, boy, he played on the Smurf turf.
Yeah, and if you think about it,
35.
Herbert's 26. Like I feel like he's going to listen to him more. And also, but the thing is, Kellen Moore, the last thing people remember of him is putting Ezekiel Elliott at center.
We just did the Cowboys
I'm
preview.
a little, I don't know what that was about.
Will we see Austin Eckler under center at all, or snapping the ball? That would be awesome.
Well, he's trying to open up his avenues for additional revenue. So maybe get a couple, throw some passes. You're more than a running back, bro.
But look, he did well with Dak. But the criticism with the Cowboys was he really, with those two running backs, he should have been running it more.
Yeah.
But with this team, I think it's going to work because Eckler, they're thin at running back. I think it's going to work better. I'm optimistic, but I don't know how much of an upgrade that will be.
A couple other interesting nuggets. The Chargers were 30th in net yards per play. So
Is that good?
No, that's really bad.
Very
and the
impressive.
fact that they went 10-7, got into the playoffs. Obviously, we're up by a decent amount in the playoff game.
Vikings of the Southwest, you say?
No, there was some stuff that will probably regress, but they were 7-5 in one score games, +4 turnover differential. Maybe that evens out a little bit this year. Decker, I know you were, while the loss was happening, you were saying, hey, at least it means we'll fire Brandon Staley.
I can't believe that didn't
and
happen.
then they didn't fire Brandon Staley. Was it just a money thing? That was always my theory.
Yeah,
but why
cheap.
do you think they kept him?
I mean, I don't know. He's like a Ted Lasso guy. Everybody likes him. You know, I loved him until he started screwing up.
Well, he was smart. He was like all the spreadsheet nerds loved him because he was going for it like crazy. But maybe he was just like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Well, it was weird
and then he
because
just became a complete football guy.
2 years ago, he was going for it on every time on fourth down, and it was
It's fun for the fans.
Yeah, it was like insane. And then last year, he kind of turned a little pussy.
It's
He
like-
was-
Yeah, he listened to the media too much.
Yeah,
and he
he-
listened to the talking
So
heads.
maybe he finds that sweet middle between being aggressive, not being insane. But I mean, even in that, I hate to come back to the playoff game.
No,
but
he was trying to run out the clock.
Yes.
In a game where in a passing
some
league.
points.
This is a passing league now, man. They didn't take any time off the clock. Every touchdown was pass from Lawrence. They did nothing about it.
It was managed as poorly as you can manage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they didn't run enough time, and they were throwing on second down. If you wanted to run out the clock, they were throwing. It was horrible.
I mean, if you caught someone like that playing Madden, you're like, all right, cool. I got
You
this.
have to understand it. The Spanoses are in charge.
Yeah.
And they're idiots, and they love their idiot coaches.
Tell that.
They haven't had a good coach since Bobby Ross.
Tell that Brian Dable story again. Why didn't the Chargers hire Brian Dable?
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
a great-
clear now. I thought for sure, and I told you guys, I thought for sure he was coming. He was. I don't know if he's best friends with Tom Telesco, but they're like from the same town, and they were like roommates for a point.
And he's
they
the
coached
Chargers
at some
GM,
point. Yeah,
right?
he's the Chargers. Tom Telesco is the Chargers GM. He knows Brian Dable. Like they were roommates
Personally.
for I don't know if it was for a summer or whatever when they
they've
were
shared-
coaching somewhere.
they've shared
but they're
personal
friends.
space.
And so you got Dable, who's never been a head coach at this level, and he knows a GM
Yeah.
who's looking for a job.
Seems
and it
positive.
didn't happen. I was like, Dable knows something. He knows
'cause
something we
imagine-
don't, and it's true. He made the
Imagine
right
if your
decision.
roommate was hiring for a job that you're totally qualified for.
What are the chances?
And you don't get the job. It's probably because the roommate's like, dude, you don't want this job. It kind of sucks.
He knew about the curse.
And
He
the-
told him about the curse.
And the sports writers only knew that. They were like, "Oh, they used to be roommates for a time. He's for sure coming." And then it didn't happen. We were like, "Whoa, something's going on."
Biggest flaw, I guess, of the Chargers last season was the run defense. The run defense completely horrific, and that was the way teams attacked the Chargers.
And they didn't go after and make it that much better.
Yeah,
That's
what
the
did they?
crazy part?
What let's bring up what they did in the offseason. We got the key additions, key
Well,
losses.
Nick Williams. So you tell me about that.
They did
Kramer.
bring in Eric Kendricks.
I think he played for the Giants.
yeah, Nick Williams isn't. That's not. I mean, he.
They didn't
That's
make
not
the
a name
sheet.
that stands out to you.
Let's
right?
put it this
You're
way:
not happy.
the Giants drastically upgraded the depth on their roster,
Yeah.
and Nick Williams wasn't brought back.
It doesn't feel like, and we'll see.
They're still very thin.
They obviously first round pick Quentin Johnston. Then they go DN Tuli Tupulotu. who
Nice.
I was hearing getting some good buzz. Dion Hanley. Have you heard any camp buzz about the about Tuli or Dion?
Nothing
Decker?
about Henley. Everybody likes Tooley. He's doing a great job. I've heard a lot of buzz about Darius Davis. The PR department already. This is just the PR department.
He's
They
the
already put
second
him-
receiver they drafted.
Yeah, and well, they drafted the entire TCU offense. So I was joking about you. If they ever play the Eagles, they're fucked because they drafted the whole Georgia defense. But they like Darius Davis. They already said he's going to be the kick returner, punt returner.
So maybe Darius Davis is a fun guy to keep an eye on for first touchdown anytime.
That's
touchdown.
a Chargers move.
Yeah.
Draft a special teamer when they completely take
No
the return
defensive
out of
lineman.
Yeah, I
no
mean-
defensive lineman on that list.
First round, you want to go someone who's going to stuff the run, like just
Well,
a big fat dude.
Sean, Tucker, maybe you don't understand. By letting the other team run the ball, like 7 yards a carry, they keep the clock running.
Yeah,
It is
exactly
like-
what they needed versus Jacksonville.
It is.
Running the ball is less efficient than passing the ball. They're not passing the ball
They're-
against us.
Once again, they're building their team to like overtake the Chiefs.
Yeah.
When that's just not going to happen. You play other teams.
Yeah.
You can, as a Giants fan, you can win the wild card and go on and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And
that's-
they're
I do.
I
know,
mean, I
Decker,
understand.
thank you.
I understand what they're doing in the division. It makes sense. They play the teams 6 times, but there are teams like even the Dolphins, Tennessee,
I love these notes
Baltimore,
that Decker has.
Yeah,
over
Decker-
here.
Decker-
New
with-
England. They're gonna manhandle the Chargers in those games. I mean, like even Chicago.
Can we get
fucking
can we
worries
get
me.
this for the gram? We gotta get a picture
Oh,
of
yeah.
this for the gram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
will-
could take it. I have my own method, dude. I do colors. I do big letters. I do pen for when I.
He
wanna get
printed
stuff in
out a
there.
sheet typed, and then he's highlighted
it's-
and added notes in pen as well. That is quite a crib note.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes every year is the Chargers preview.
Oh, it's great. Get Decker here in
Well,
studio.
It used to be the AFC West preview, now the Chargers preview. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this
Chargers
team,
went 1-6 against playoff teams last year, so I think that's the biggest concern. As far as the defense, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa on the ends, two guys that obviously, I mean, Joey Bosa,
yeah.
I think is in the mix for defensive player of the year if he stays healthy.
Well-
But that obviously is the big issue with Joey Bosa. You could probably say similar stuff with Khalil Mack, obviously getting up there in age. Any thoughts on the pass rush for the Chargers?
Yeah. So I mean, that's still. I mean, those two have to be still in the top 5 duos.
Yeah.
If
how
they
did you
stay
describe
healthy.
the defense last year? It was like Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and a bunch of other dudes.
Yeah. No, that's still
Derwin James
kind of
was
what
out
it
at
is.
the time.
Yeah, J.C. Jackson got injured. What was interesting to me last year was I thought they had more injuries than they actually did. They were about middle of the pack, and they always have more injuries than most people. It's
No,
crazy.
but they were key injuries.
That's what I'm saying. They were
Yeah.
of the good players.
And
It's just bad luck.
well, I think
you know
part
what I
of
mean?
that
Like,
is they don't have. I think on the defensive side of the ball specifically, they don't have a ton of depth.
they
and
don't. They're
it
yeah.
seems
they're
like
very
every-
good, but
every-
they have solid players.
Yeah, every year when Derwin James gets hurt, it's like, oh wow,
Oh, yeah.
he's so much better than his replacement. That's not good. And so, look, I think if there's one thing we've learned over the course of the last 5 years in the NFL is that Vic Fangio disciples just don't cut it, and this defense isn't very good. So this is a team that's going to need to play offense. And I think I'm with you, Sean.
Where they do have depth.
Later on, we will be talking about Joey Bosa as a defensive player of the year candidate, maybe most sacks candidate, because I think they're going to have so many damn possessions to get after the quarterback. I do think this is a team that's going to be offensively more exciting than they were last year. Look,
Yeah.
I rooted for a team that ran concepts that everything stopped 9 yards downfield, just like the Chargers were last year. And I think when you spread things out, everything gets better. You have the best pass catching running back in the NFL, and you don't ever send him downfield to put linebackers in true conflict. You have a 3 wide, maybe 4. I mean, people are already forgetting about Palmer, who
He
was
had
a
a
guy
great
who's
year.
was
76
good.
catches. or
you
something.
have I've heard people say that they don't have great options at tight end. Gerald Everett could be very dynamic, and we all love XFL legend Donald Parham, who's got all the
Well,
edge
Gerald
plan.
Everett, I think that
He's got to be. Parham has to have the red zone opportunities.
Yeah.
He's got to be healthy. Everett is just he's not a smart guy. Maybe we get into that later.
No, the little things you
But
get
the
from
goal
si-
line, he's fucked
the
up.
things-
well,
So bad.
that Chargers Chiefs game
Yeah.
early on the season where like
was
right
too
before the
tired.
play he was like, "Hey, sub me out," and then he didn't come back for the ball and that pick. It's hard to get over that for
Decker
Gerald
goes,
Everett.
he's
Yeah.
a dumb guy. He's not. He can't be trusted in the red zone. He
I got to
doesn't-
be more positive. I like him. He does well just in the red zone. Not sure he has the capacity for
look,
all those routes.
I think.
Is that a nice way?
That's positive. That's positive.
I think that their, defense, you can probably make comparisons to their offense in that they have an insane amount of talent at the top. Similar to the crosstown team, actually.
Yeah.
In that some key injuries are going to be difficult. Now, you like that they're going for it by drafting another receiver. So in theory, they should have weapons to throw down the field.
And they got their speed guy back. Guy. No one talks about him because
Yeah,
he doesn't
no,
get a lot of volume, but he is the deep threat.
Look, I
he
think
opens the field.
there's a lot. I mean, I think they will have weapons. I think Justin Herbert is going to be live to capture everything, yardage, touch. Like he's going to set personal bests in everything. I don't buy the narrative that he's a mediocre guy. He was in a shitty. I mean, we just saw this happen with Daniel Jones coming out of Garrett. It's a valid comparison.
Decker, don't let him compare Herbert to Daniel Jones.
Herbert,
Decker's standing right here. Come on, Decker.
No, Herbert being paid like the number one quarterback. Meanwhile, Dan Jones' contract just continues to look like insane value. Look, I just think that when you see the scheme improvements, I don't have as much question about the scheme improvements. I think Kellen Moore has been like handcuffed by Garrett and McCarthy for the past couple of years.
and Kellen Moore, now that he's no longer a Cowboy, I can feel free complimenting him.
Yeah.
Their red zone offense was really good, and I think
that's where they need to improve.
Yeah,
which
and
is
I think
what they were horrible at because
I think
Lombardi's
it's a perfect
shit sucked.
match.
Yeah.
Again, that's why we are talking about like a Donald Parham, maybe even Gerald Everett. Maybe some of these other. We haven't even talked really a ton about Eckler, but I think the fact that coaching really makes a huge difference in red zone efficiency. And I think Kellen Moore, if you're a Chargers fan, if you're optimistic about the Chargers, you're talking yourself into that.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that kind of stood out in both, I have a confession, Sean. I may have peeked into the Football Outsider or the formerly Football Outsider.
Oh, wow.
But one thing that did stand out to me is the thesis that Justin Herbert is good in close games. This Chargers team once again was good in close games, and you can be critical about some of his stats that were related to the scheme. I do think you're winning in close games, or you're performing well in close games because you're a fucking dog. And way back when they tried to cancel sports and we created sports in the form of the college football tournament,
Herbert balled out.
We all became immediately aroused, maybe too many whiskeys deep in my garage that night, of Justin Herbert's beautiful arm talent.
He was so good in those college simulations.
Oh, the social media QB. He's going to put that to bed, but we know why he's called that. That is a beautiful ball, isn't it?
All right. We're going to get to the schedule of the San Diego Chargers, aka Los Angeles Chargers. Before we do that, shout out to Circa Sports coming back with their Circa Millions, $14 million up for grabs. Circa Millions contest, picking NFL games against the spread. Sign me up. Literally, Kramer and I do this contest every year. Love the contest scene out in Las Vegas. Circa Millions, weekly picks. No rake, 100% payback to the players. And obviously the survivor, you just pick one team to survive. $8 million guaranteed. Imagine that sweat if you make towards the end of the contest. It's incredible. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. So many ways to win over at Circa Sports. It's just awesome. We're going to be out there August 24th to the 26th. Come out, celebrate Ryan's birthday, have a beer with us, sign up for the contest.
Hey.
We will get you, we'll pick your week one card for you if you need help. Circusports.com for all the details. Let's pull up those odds for these Los Angeles Chargers. Win total sitting at 9.5.
Look at that division price.
Make playoffs -125. Miss playoffs +105. Division +340. Conference 13-1. And the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, of course. That's going to be fucking bonkers. 25-1.
Herbert's too good to miss the playoffs.
Okay. I mean,
is that too hot?
Well, we'll walk through the schedule, but again, over under of 9.5 versus miss playoffs at +105, make playoffs -125. I mean, you kind of like make playoffs at -125 more than over 9.5 if you're slightly high on the team, because you can get in at 9-8. If you win 10 games, even in the AFC, I don't see how you don't make it, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the AFC is obviously way better, but even
10
still,
wins on this. We'll walk through the schedule too, because I think if they get to 10 wins, they're winning some tiebreakers, and it's because they win some AFC.
No, but
games.
make playoffs is way better than the over under. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's pull up the Los Angeles Chargers 2023 schedule. Kramer, let's get to it.
All right, and I'm assuming the Chargers will be in their powder blues for because this will be a beautiful jersey combo. Dolphins at home out in SoFi. Before we do this, I totally forgot. Meant to ask this earlier. I know the Charger. It's controversial. Do they play in a dome? Is SoFi an open air stadium? I've been in the stadium.
Yes.
it feels like an open air stadium. It does not feel like a dome. You definitely are getting a breeze, like one of those haciendas in Mexico with 3 walls. So, are the Chargers a dome team?
Oh,
No, there was a weather delay because of lightning. Can't do that in a dome. Can
there you go.
Oh.
Case closed.
But are the Chargers a dome team?
Are they built like a dome team?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
Trying to let teams run the ball to eat clock on defense. I think that's the
We may get some
epitome.
flack for that because there'll never actually be rain coming down on
is-
the field.
yeah.
It can blow sideways on
But
the
it's
top.
cool because the roof is like when you're inside and you look up, you see through to the sky.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it is again. Colby hasn't been there. Very angry about it. I actually think it's a nice.
My wife
compromise.
is actually at SoFi Stadium while we're taping
Ask her
this.
about it. She's gonna.
Taylor
Taylor Swift.
Oh, I bet you it's. She'll be surprised how cold it got because it's an open air
Oh
stadium.
no! I told her not to bring a sweatshirt.
Oh shit,
Oh,
dude.
God.
You'll be in
damn it.
trouble.
Oh, you're fucked. Dolphins at home, at Titans, at Vikings. Early back-to-back road spot there, weeks 2 and 3, and then Raiders at home. Projected to be favored in all 4 of these.
Raiders.
Early bye week. Don't always like that. Obviously, the home Raiders game is really a road Raiders game.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins won't have the. I do think the Dolphins game's a dub because Miami will not have fans. That's the one
No.
team. Pencil it in. They're
Don't
I
not
went
have
to the Dolphins game last year, and it was, it was. I would say on the lower end. I was surprised, maybe like
Very.
25, but that's still a lot, right? 25%.
not for that stadium.
Decker,
Still a
there
lot.
were
What
there
will
were
Raiders be? 70.
Decker,
So-
there were
60 to
50,000
70.
people at the Eagles practice at Veterans Stadium.
Jesus.
It was like a full stadium.
Yeah, I mean, so
My God.
This is so. Again, I'm kind of higher on the Titans than Market or Kramer. Also, kind of high on the Titans with me. And again, like Decker brought up, I think the physicality of that Titans run game, and it's an East Coast game, that's kind of tough. Then you got at Vikings. It's a back-to-back. It's a non-conference road spot, but I think they match up okay against the Vikings. I kind of like them in both home games. So I'm dabbling between 2 and 2 and 3 and 1.
Here, maybe this can help sway you. The Titans, it's their home opener. Titans are on the road.
I
week
like
1.
the Titans there, honestly.
Vikings a mini bye coming off Thursday night against the Eagles, and so they'll probably be coming off a loss.
So
Sore.
they'll be banged up. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Coming off a loss with the mini
With
bye.
the bye, mini bye.
Okay.
And then Raiders, it's a primetime sandwich spot as they have the Steelers and Sunday Night Football and the Packers on Monday Night Football. Strange primetime selections there by the NFL, but 3 and 1.
3 and 1's possible. I think to me it's either 3 and 1 or 2 and 2. I'm debating.
Just because the Raiders will have the stadium doesn't mean they're going to win.
No, I'm
No, not with this team. I'm not high on the Raiders this year.
I'm out on the Raiders. I do think that Dolphins game is going to be tough.
No,
I guess
Dolphins.
Yeah, Tua won't have a concussion by this time. Week 1.
Honestly, Dolphins.
maybe they can send the Chargers medical staff, the same one that took care of Tyrod.
Do you not remember the game last year when they I think it was the Niners had figured out how to slow down McDaniel's offense, and then the Chargers kind of ran it back and they fucked them up.
That was the best Chargers defensive performance of the
Yeah.
year, for sure.
All right, I'll go 3 and 1.
So it's either McDaniel's has been stewing all offseason for that game, or they just have the right kind of schematical advantage. So which game do they lose? The Titans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, it's an East Coast game. It's the exact team you don't want to play.
Yeah. I like that.
It's outside on long grass. It's going to be hot as fuck in Tennessee, humid. I'm going 3 and 1.
Early bye week 5, coming off the bye. Cowboys.
Well, you guys didn't give out either of you guys.
What did
give
I
out your-
said 3 and 1.
Oh, okay.
I'm going 2 and 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, Diker.
Yeah, I'm going 2 and 2. I just think
Decker's 2 and 2. All
they
right.
might start the season 0 and 2, but they're going to win one of the road games,
Yeah.
and then beat the Raiders. The Dolphins are tough this year. I think they're really good. I mean, just solid team, but it's all depends on Tua if he's going to get injured. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean the Dolphins are one of the tougher teams to handicap because if Tua goes down, you saw it's a disaster. And how can you think he's going to be completely okay in that season?
He'll be a coach at Alabama in 3 years.
If you're an MVP candidate, you got to be able to beat, maybe not Tua, but Tannehill, Cousins, and Garoppolo.
All right, I'll go 3 and 1.
Bye. All right. So at Cowboys at home on Monday Night Football, coming off the bye week.
It's going to be a disgusting amount of Cowboys fans.
Really disgusting. At Chiefs, Bears on Sunday Night Football, at Jets on Monday Night Football. Why are they? Is this a test to see if Herbert is Cousins? Will he perform in all these 3 primetime spots in a 4-week stretch? Wow. Your road games are against Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going 2-2.
Bears easy money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but the Bears, again, how do you guys do against rushing quarterbacks? Because I think Justin Fields could give you a handful.
It's just a wild card. Like they don't do well against rushing teams, but rushing quarterbacks have not given them. They're fast, so they've contained Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Like with a very similar group. It's just a toss up. It's hard to say. Rushing teams, in general, they don't do well in.
They're not.
I got them 2-2.
They're not losing.
2-2.
They're not losing to the Bears.
Kramer, what do you got?
I kind of think they're gonna steal this game from the Chiefs.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm at 2 right there, and I think I'm almost certain I gave the Cowboys a loss. So I think I'm 3-1 again.
We did have the Cowboys. If you enjoy shitting on the Cowboys, tune into that preview.
I wore a scuba mask the entire time. All right, where are you at, Decker?
I got him 2-2.
He's again. 4-4. Yeah. I'm 5-3. Kramer, leader in the clubhouse at 6-2.
Fuck. I specifically have a note that says, "Do not fall in love with the Chargers again."
Wasn't that in your calendar?
No. What's really fun? That was no Russ stuff.
Okay.
No, but I did I said, "Don't fall." I was going through some notes, and I had a reminder for next year. It said, "Interception markets are fun. Don't fall in love with the Chargers again."
The chat seemingly is lower on the Chargers than we are. D Bettis,
this is their year.
D Bettis coming in at 3-5. Danger Aaron coming in at 3-5. So it looks like the chat. Smith happens saying 4-4. So I can see 4-4.
D Bettis is always D Bettis probably, if you add up all the wins, it's probably like 32 wins.
He's
short.
the opposite of you, Ryan.
I like to have optimism at this point in the season. All right, moving along, we have the Lions at home at Packers. Ravens at home on Sunday Night Football, another primetime game, and at Patriots. Patriots game is going to be a tough one for them. For whatever reason, I just always have visuals of the Chargers struggling in New England.
Always.
The rushing attack will be there. Bill O'Brien, obviously more competent than Patricia and Judge. Lions, kind of a same thing. Like both, they can run the ball. They can also give up a lot of yards on the ground. Same with the Packers. We could see some rushing shootouts in these games. I don't have. There's not a game on this section that to me stands out as an auto lock,
as a win or a loss, really. Right?
I think they match up. Don't they match up well against the Lions? I mean, is their passing off defense improved?
So many. No, their defense is horrible. This is going to be a shootout. Jared Goff coming home to LA.
In those underdog fantasy best ball, the weekly ones, if you're trying to build a lineup optimized around week 10, that Lions game in LA, it feels like a fun game to center around. Just jumping out at me here. At Packers,
Detroit's off the bye that week, and they will have fans. Detroit fans are like, if they're good at all, they will be.
I was getting shit for having the Lions go 9-8. I was described as a Lions hater.
We had them winning this game though, because we said this would feel like a home game for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Ravens at home, again, to Decker's point, they've seemingly able to hang with them. At Packers, it won't be bone chilling cold, but you wonder how
he's not losing to Jordan Love. Actually, the more that I think about it.
Yeah, they're going to be
all right. 2-2.
I got 2-2 again.
Yeah, Decker 6-6. Decker.
Yeah.
How are you going to get to an over here? Kramer, what do you think?
I think I'm going to randomly go 1-3 here.
1-3.
All right, last 4.
So Kramer cratering down to earth at 7-5. I'm 7-5. Decker nipping at her heels 6-6.
Broncos at home at Raiders on Thursday Night Football.
Got to win that one.
Bills at home at Broncos. Chiefs at home. That game may not mean anything maybe it means something.
Yeah, they lucked out with that one, I think.
Yeah.
I think more games mean something because of the 1 seed.
Yeah, it's
versus
only
the one
only
and the
one
2
team
seed.
has a bye.
Yeah.
But there's still some starter resting stuff, and Andy Reid obviously definitely would be a guy who would rest his starters, given that opportunity. I think you win at home against the Broncos, but at Denver in freezing cold temperatures, elevation.
That's a tough spot.
That's a tough spot.
They also might suck though, and that could be Stidham.
Bills at home. Yeah, I like that. Raiders on the road. I usually hate Thursday night road games, but you got to get that win. Can I get them to 3-2?
Well, I think the Chiefs don't travel because they don't need the game, maybe.
Yeah.
Or do they? It's kind of a tricky one because if they don't need the game, it means you haven't won your division or you're out of the running for your division.
And they got the Bills. They played the Bills week 16. That could be a big game. I mean, if you lose to the Bills, Chiefs may have the number 1 seed.
Right.
I think it's going to be between the Bills.
Do
and the
they
Chiefs.
split with their division usually, Decker?
Last year,
Where are we?
last year I think they were under, but they played the Broncos the last week. I think they were.
All right.
What would it be? 2-4?
Yeah. Really? Okay.
I think so.
So I can't do more than 3-3. So let me make sure. All right. So I've already given them the. So I guess
Yeah,
I got
they
a
were
loss.
2-4.
Oh no. I'll say they go 3. Can they go 3-2 here? Is that a stretch? I'm pretty down.
I got them at 3-2. I'm counting on that last game. I'm holding out for that last game not meaning anything.
How do they not make the playoffs with Justin Herbert?
That's true.
What
I
do you
mean,
got?
Thin
Sean?
defense.
I'm going back and forth
Bad
between
coaching?
3-2 and 2-3. I'm going to lock in at 3-2.
Same
This
here.
Chargers team feels like another 10-7 team.
Did we get to the over?
Yes. 10 is over. So 10-7.
I got the under.
Oh wow.
But I'm hedging it. I'm going to say they're still going to make it in. That's how I hedge it because I've been over on the Chargers the last 3 years.
Wow,
And I've said this year I just can't do it again.
the chat is shitting on
under
this team.
9.5 wins. Chargers make playoffs at -125. You like? I'm with you. I mean, for the sheet, I will write down Chargers over 9.5 wins, but 9-8 feels just as likely as 10-7 with this team. So I'm going to add make playoffs at -125. I do think that's a good bet for them.
I think yeah.
They have a tough road schedule this year.
Are they an alt?
I'm always hoping for an easier road schedule because they don't have home field advantage. So it's always like, doesn't matter. But an easier home schedule, what they have,
They don't have
that.
home field though. So
No,
it's-
they don't.
Yeah, but also I would, and since they're in the AFC, they have that 9th home game, which could cause them problems. No, Chargers fan, you don't want. Last year was the ideal scenario where you have 9 road games.
Yeah, less home games better.
Yeah, I mean, they're an interesting team. I don't think I can't see them getting to 12, 13, 14 wins. I just can't because of
Really?
because of the now.
If everyone stays healthy,
It would require like an outerwordly performance out of Herbert. Like I would say, I would rather bet Justin Herbert MVP than them to get to 12, 13, than the alt wins on those Chargers season. Because I think if they get to 12, 13 wins, especially with who they're playing, I think Herbert gets the MVP. I just think there's too many issues on the defensive side to get them super high in the double-digit wins.
Yeah, just bet the over for Herbert rushing yards this year.
Oh,
I think people are going
really?
to sleep on that because
What?
he just did not run last year, and
Let me see
he
if
did
I
a
can
lot of he did a lot of running. He didn't really necessarily have the big yardage in his second year.
Yeah.
but there was nothing last year. I don't know what the
I feel like this-
I haven't seen it.
I don't have a
posted.
number, unfortunately. I'll check.
I feel like the chat is all over the place with this team. Danger Aaron,
mostly down.
9-8, D Bettis 7-10, Serial 10-7, Smith Happens 9-8, Earl James down to 6-11.
No way.
I think 7-10
All
is their
right,
floor.
I got
Yeah.
shout out underdog code SGPN. 210.5 rushing yards. I might have to.
man,
I might have to
dude.
build a parlay right now.
Lock it in right now.
Okay, what are we putting it with?
What else do you like prop wise?
The only really buzz I'm hearing is everybody likes Quentin Johnston and Herbert likes him. I saw it at 570 yards.
Interesting. You think?
I mean,
you
I
think he's
I
getting
kind of
involved
like that
right
one.
away?
Yeah, I do.
And
I think he's going to be better than Mike Williams.
okay. We got him right here. What's the number you said?
I had 570.
All right.
I don't
Underdog has 599.5. Let's see what
Okay.
what DK has. I don't see one for Almond rushing yards. Yeah, I mean, I that's interesting. I have not plugged in deep enough in the Chargers stuff to really understand who's going to be the third guy. It does seem like Mike Williams is back.
Yeah.
For now.
But then what are they doing? Are they having Keenan Allen in the slot? What's going on with that? Because were they moving them around or
that's
so? Where does Quentin Johnson?
Keenan Allen always played on the right side. I bet you he took more snaps from the slot last year than he ever did before. Maybe I don't know, like 30%. I'll have to look that up. It's interesting, but I would say it's going to be the same thing. He's a possession receiver, but I'd look for him over touchdowns.
Okay.
He's at 5.5. I'm not going to do his catches like I did last year. That's not going to happen. And he's listed at 875 yards. I don't know about that. That seems right, but 5.5 touchdowns. He's the only one who knows how to run those routes in the red zone.
Plus 100 to the over. And by the way, DraftKings does have 575.5 on the yardage for Quentin Johnston.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So got a nice little sheet going here for Decker. My fun long shot bet is Joey Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, if that guy stays out on the field and doesn't, whip his helmet anywhere.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Well, also that. I mean, that might get you ejected.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
So Sean, on
45-1 Defensive Player of the Year, Joey Bosa.
On May 24th, we gave it out at 35-1. So
yeah, why is it going the other way?
Let's add in. We got to incrementally add to our value.
Yeah, I mean, he only had 2.5 sacks last year because he only played a handful of games. But year before, 10.5. He's had an 11.5, a 12.5. Like he just needs. If Khalil Mack stays healthy, makes his job a little bit easier. Yep. If he can get up to like that 14 sack game or have a couple big games. I mean, they play so many primetime games.
And he still only played a few games with Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
if he can have a couple of big games in those primetime games.
He's got to stay healthy. That's all it is.
Smith Happens in the chat saying, what are the odds for first coach fired for Staley?
I don't have the faraway places pulled up. Let me.
Oh man, I would. I can't even. No one else came to mind right away besides him.
Really,
it's a
not
weird.
McCarthy.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. There you go.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy is the odds-on favorite. He was 6-1. Again, why? Probably why you want to.
All right, let's see if they have first coach to be fired.
They do because we were. I had it. I had it for the Cowboys preview.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's currently listed.
I think usually.
Here we go.
I guess.
What about
Staley?
LaFleur?
16-1.
LaFleur, right? The Packers.
14.
See what he does without.
But Staley 16-1, right next to Sean McVay.
Yeah. See, they're not going to fire Sean McVay. I mean, and they're not going to fire Brandon Staley. Like,
they would have fired him already.
Yes.
I don't think the Chargers have ever fired anybody mid-season. Spanos is just don't do that.
Yeah,
no, because it means you have to pay another guy. It's just that simple. Like they're not gonna. Oh wait, I have to pay out his contract and then pay another guy head coaching money. No fucking way.
Yeah.
So there's no way he's doing that.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Over 425.5 points.
Okay. What is that points per game?
Last year they scored nearly 24 points a game. This would mean 25 points a game. Them increasing their output by 1 point per game with a more aggressive approach to offense makes a lot of sense. Especially Decker highlighted they were really poor in the red zone, something that Kellen Moore was good at. And I do think you stack it with most points in the league. If their defense is bad again, that's the recipe you want. They're strangely 10th long shot in this market, 16-1. So Chargers to score the most points is 16.
You want in on that, Ryan?
Yeah, with the over. It's a correlated play. It's kind of like when we stack our quarterback and our wide receiver. So.
Chad is fired up tonight. Love it.
Which, by the way, shout out to I'll give DraftKings a little love here. They have a full total all teams over under for points on the season.
Oh wow,
12,495.5.
Imagine betting that. Just wake up every.
How are you excited? You do the math every week?
Yeah,
I got an edge.
Red zone every time the red zone changes. Fuck.
Just take the. You should gift someone the under on that. How to ruin football season.
Yes. Robo in the chat is saying that Staley's just got to lay off the meth. He's implying Staley. He is a little too skinny to be a football coach. I will say, Brandon Staley. Yeah.
We're suggesting malpractice.
No, maybe he got into some. Maybe his heart medicine caused him to lose a little weight. Not gonna.
You got to be careful with your heart medicine.
Exactly. Yeah. So 45-1. That's kind of my fun long shot. I don't. You know what? I'll co-sign the rushing yards because I think Decker's onto something with that.
Bosa sacks is 50-1. I don't know. Do you like that more than the 45-1 defensive player of the year?
Yeah, because they don't have one of the best teams. Like generally, defensive player of the year is on one of the best teams.
Yeah. Well,
but sacks. I mean, if he stays healthy, he could get the most sacks.
So hard?
Trying a different strategy.
He's normally comes in super positive, and then it's just stunning collapse. So he's doing the exact opposite. I'll stay with defensive player of the year because I think it could be a turnover thing that gets Bosa, like some forced fumbles. Which usually end up counting as a sack. I mean, they're probably pretty correlated. If he has the most sacks, I don't see how he's not defensive player of the year.
It's a similar price. It's not that.
I think there's still a small chance where like maybe he has 13 sacks, someone else has 14, and he wins it. So I'll take.
That would be a pretty low sack total.
13 for defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Well, who's the defensive?
I think so. Was it Watt last year? TJ Watt? Who was it?
No, because he missed a ton of time
that's right. He did.
Last year it was Nick Bosa. And what is his
his brother?
Yeah, again, he's got the genetics to get it done. Last year Nick Bosa had 18.5. So he's probably got to get up a little bit higher, maybe like 15, 16 to get it, but I like the price.
Did you happen to check out some of the crazy? They're I don't know why they're doing this, but Chargers undefeated season being offered at 200-1.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, this
Throw
is the
away
kind
your
of
money.
like this is the kind of stuff where it's like, well, you're giving the gambling industry a bad name. Why are you offering this?
Hashtag Legends
At
only.
least act like Circa and offer the other side.
Yes.
I mean, be a man.
That would be fun. Just take no undefeated season on every single team.
Yeah.
It's a plus EV opportunity if I ever saw one. All right. Any other props you guys got? What do you think? Danger Aaron in the YouTube chat, Decker says Eckler over 8.5 touchdowns. And where are you at with Eckler? I'm just kind of nervous. There was like that thing with him wanting a new contract. They kind of worked out an incentive thing. I can't quite get a handle on Eckler's year this year. Are you super high on him on fantasy? He had 107 catches last year, 13 touchdowns, rushing 915 rushing yards. Kind of an insane, outlierish of a season. I guess that's why I'm scared to be super high on him. But what do you make of Eckler fantasy props wise?
Isn't he? I mean, he was the best scoring running back in DraftKings 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's
scorer,
still 27. He's moping around training camp like they have really treated him like shit, and
that's what
they don't have
I'm
anybody else. That's out of the offense. That's the thinnest. Like he is Josh Kelly. I don't know, man. He's really.
You think he's moping?
Down, but I don't think that matters that much. I mean, I think he's still going to produce 8.5 touchdowns rushing. There's no one behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, you might want to do that.
Josh Kelly.
Yeah, he's not going to get 100 catches again.
Okay, so maybe look to the rushing props for over.
Yeah, they have no
Eckler.
other. All their running backs have been horrible, and they still have them. Roundtree.
Yeah,
Josh
you're
Kelly.
right. They really haven't.
There's no one there.
Gotten anything going with these other guys.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time for everyone's favorite prediction. That's right. Who will be the Los Angeles Chargers MLD, aka most likely DGen, aka the individual we think is most likely to get busted for betting on sports gambling by the NFL? For me, again, I was explaining the award to Decker. You know, you can do it. You can pick your MLD a bunch of different ways. It could be someone who's reckless. It could be someone who has a criminal history. It could be someone who's financially motivated to do something, or they just don't understand computers. For me, this is the last one. Guy has not been great with computers. Put out some tweets that he had to delete. Give me Joey Bosa.
Oh,
Again, he checks a lot of boxes. A true degen, losing his cool against the refs, spiking the helmet. You can tell he's definitely thrown something. There was, of course, the incident when we destroyed the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. He was going there to watch the Eagles play. Use some words you shouldn't use directed at the Eagles fan. That seems to be like a guy who's kind of reckless. It was
just caveman.
Yeah, it's not.
Enemy, food.
It's a very simple flow chart for the Bosa family brains. Does this person have the football tackle?
Sean, you got to bring back the Andrew Luck impression for Joey
I'm here
and
to
Nick.
rush the passer.
Yeah, be Joey and Nick at the same time.
I'm Joey and Nick. Hey,
Yeah, that works.
you also rush the passer? Oh fuck yeah! Does he have the ball? Yeah. Should you tackle him? Fuck yeah, you should.
That's the idea that they're like Siamese connected twins.
Yes. Oh, awesome. This is what really flipped it over and locked it in for Joey Bosa MLD. I forgot.
Shit.
Joey Bosa got suspended by Urban Meyer while at Ohio State. They said they wouldn't reveal what it was. They said marijuana at academics. They wouldn't say what it was. What do you have to do as a good college football player to get suspended by Urban Meyer? Urban Meyer turned a blind eye to Aaron Hernandez. What the hell are you doing, Joey Bosa?
Well, allegedly, but I mean, per some stories,
I'll stand by the reporting in that podcast.
Aaron Hernandez and Reggie Nelson, while at Florida, shot a guy in the face. And
Allegedly.
they didn't get suspended.
According to that podcast.
And they didn't get suspended.
They got off of, again, if you haven't listened to the Aaron Hernandez, the Boston Globe put out a great podcast, some great reporting on it. Their excuse was that they had a loaded gun in the back seat. They hit a speed bump and the gun went off and shot the guy in the face, and they let that go. What the fuck?
Didn't that happen in Pulp Fiction?
And that actually, they probably just saw Pulp Fiction. Like, let's just go with it.
It works there,
It was an
yeah.
accident. And the guy who was terrified for his life probably didn't want to testify and said, "Yeah, it was an accident."
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Decker, how say you on the Los Angeles Chargers MLD?
MLD. Okay, I like it. I like Bosa's a good one, but I'm going to go a different angle with the guy who just doesn't hustle. Doesn't seem like he cares and knows a lot. We mentioned previously Gerald Everett.
Oh,
That's basically just another angle, man. I got nothing to say about him, just other than I like my team and I want guys to learn the playbook. He's
So you're
really
saying-
talented.
You're saying if a guy doesn't learn the playbook, probably not learning the regulations as far as betting
Yeah,
the team
I
facility.
think so.
and
Yeah.
Decker, you wonder around the red zone if you were going to influence a game, when would you take that time?
Right. Oh, look at that. That's right.
I mean,
pretend you're tired, so you got an alibi.
Yeah. Oh, I was feeling a little gassed, and all of a sudden,
Try to take me out.
This
swing
feels a
that
little bit
game.
like that 9/11 thing where it's like a lot of people would have to be in on the gig here.
a lot of questions you can ask about Gerald Everett and his red zone performances. Not a lot of answers, though.
Not a lot of answers.
Not a lot. I like it. I like Gerald Everett. That's a good one. Kramer.
So I did have an example for Decker queued up just in case he wasn't fully prepared.
Okay.
Because your left tackle, I don't know if you know this, but your left tackle is a weirdo fat guy who may have participated in weirdo fat guy
Slater?
shit
Slater?
while at Northwestern.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Listen,
whole
when
thing.
you're an
He's one
All-American,
of those
that's
guys who will get penetration.
when you're an All-American, yeah, you run the car wash. Whatever that means, I don't know, but you're running the car wash. No,
especially when you're the best player on the team, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow, this is all coming
Yeah, I
together.
mean, your dick's definitely getting rubbed on things, not the other way around.
well, at least
When
I
you're
know
an
he's
All-American.
tough. He's a tough
And
guy.
as you know, Ryan's a huge fan of that.
I want a dick rubbed on me tonight.
Slater was a big fan of getting the full detail.
I'll take the hot wax. I mean, there are so many euphemisms for the car
The
wash.
full deal. All right, so but the real one, you have to think again. This is an organizational thing. These are organizational wide policies that govern the ability of employees of the team to gamble.
Dean Spanos' sister.
No.
Well, now you got me thinking. I'm starting to get going now.
Who is so
Not a player, but
who do you think in the building has the most disproportionate perception of themselves compared to what everyone else in the building thinks?
Medical
about them?
staff.
Social media
Oh.
team. The Chargers
The
social
Chargers,
media team.
they smell themselves.
They are dominant in the social media game, but you know what that
number
does?
one again by the NFL.
Number
Doesn't
one,
translate
number
to
one
fans,
social
unfortunately.
media team means shit in the building, and they're still treated like shit by the players. And you know what they're probably doing in between firing off tweets,
At PF Chang's with their wives.
firing off bets.
Oh, okay.
I guarantee if their social media guy is anything like our social media guy, they're playing tennis, they're playing ping pong, they're playing Korean League baseball.
A lot of time on the computer. A lot of time looking up memes,
Wait, yeah, exactly.
creating memes.
I don't understand social media, but to understand it, it seems like you need to be very good at quickly consuming a whole bunch of crappy information and spitting it back out. And what
Yes.
better than pics on the internet all over the place?
I have a conspiracy theory. Ryan selected the social media team just for the graphic that Josh will inevitably find of a social media person for our MLDs. Because the one he found when you name the IT department
Jurassic
for
Park.
the Detroit Lions, the guy who plays Newman in Jurassic Park, that was an amazing photo.
Well, Newman from Seinfeld, yeah, but
I'm sure he has a real name.
referencing him as Newman, to
Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight, yes.
Wayne Knight, aka Newman, referencing that to Josh. He's like, no, he's the principal from Billy Madison,
Oh yes.
and I was
yes.
like, oh, that's a good reference.
That's a good one.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so
Social media team, like it.
and maybe we even can tag them and get some bump. They'll be
love
into it.
that.
But I mean, think about it though. Like, how many guys do you know that are proficient in Photoshop, social media, don't gamble?
They again,
a
you're
good point.
sitting on your laptop, your computer. They're really good on the phone.
You know how to use a VPN. You're
Yeah.
a social media guy.
You got it all
They
figured
changed
out.
the game though. They started that whole thing where when the schedules are released,
schedule videos,
You know, they
yeah.
do the schedule. Now every team does it. We started it, baby.
No, this
The Chargers
is
started
more
it.
this is more NBA occasion of the NFL, Sean.
All right, real quick recap the bets. Kramer and I got the Chargers going 10-7. Decker 9-8. I think this is the first time this
different
ever
approach
happened.
this year.
We're on the over 9.5, but really playoffs -125. I got Joey Bosa, defensive player of the year, co-signing. Decker's over 210.5 rushing yards for Herbert. Kramer likes over 425.5 total points. Chargers most points 16-1. Decker also on Quentin Johnson over 570.5 receiving yards. Keenan Allen over 5.5 receiving touchdowns. Joey Bosa's my MLD. Decker, Gerald Everett, Kramer, the social media team for the Los Angeles Chargers. Decker, it would not be an appearance with you on the show. The fans demand it. Please, a live rendition of the San Diego Chargers theme song.
Thunderbolts and lightning light up the sky. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll give it all you got and more. The Superchargers score. San Diego Superchargers charge. I try
Wow.
to do a little different every year,
Yeah,
like a
and you-
different line. You know, I
gotta
don't want to
be
sing the whole
honest,
song.
You got like a Bob Dylan rasp.
And
yeah, I
you
don't
got-
think you've
and-
heard that one before.
And he
huh?
got
Light Up the Sky.
Yeah, he got the earlier part of the lyrics I had never heard. Amazing
Yeah.
performance.
Thank
Always
you.
appreciate you coming on, Decker. Make sure you follow
Yeah, thanks,
Decker.
guys.
Follow Decker on X at Justin_Decker. Right?
That's right.
That's your handle.
That's right.
You're not on Threads, right? You're on.
I
X?
am on Threads. I still use it for different things, different
Wait.
just friends and exes for crazy
Wait, so people use Threads?
I still use Threads.
You're doing some nefarious shit over there, Tanker.
Yeah, I
know what
feel
you're
like
upset.
it's not going to break through. I just feel like it's not.
Yeah, I tried Threads. I lost interest pretty easily. All right, we got coming back more team previews, our NFL preseason week 1 picks as well. Special bonus interview. Former NFL and college player should be fun there, and of course we're going to be at the Fantasy Football Expo this weekend. If you're kidding, Canton, Ohio, come come say hi. And of course, do your part in the war against corporate gambling. You read the headlines, they're growing stronger every day. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
One more bet. Chargers get eliminated in the wild card round. +300.
Kramer, let it ride.
I like that one.